And we're going to start by hearing from Davide Cherubini, who is Senior Specialist Solutions Architect at Wind River. Davide will discuss what customers expect from an Open RAN cloud and the early improvements they are already seeing. Davide, tell us about the challenges your customers are experiencing with Open RAN and how can Wind River Studio support them on their Open RAN journey?
Thanks, Guy. What Wind River brings to Open RAN is actually many things. So the first one is experience with commercial deployments at scale with customers like Vodafone and Verizon, where we have tens of thousands of nodes already deployed in production. What we have there, we learn a lot of lessons, addressing challenges and issues that customers sometimes don't even know yet. For example, the deployment at scale, where we have to deploy tens of thousands of nodes in an automatic way in a very short time frame. And that is where automation brings a lot of benefits with its introduction. The second one is the operations at scale. What if you want to perform a software upgrade of thousands of nodes within the same maintenance window or overnight? That is where automation helps you. And that is why automation is a hot topic. Before moving to the innovation with partners, I will give some examples and some quotes from our customers. Let's start with Verizon. Like I said, Verizon has deployed in production tens of thousands of nodes running Wind River software. So Verizon has recognized the importance of introducing cloud technologies and automation in its networks. They can do operations and enhance and optimize the network like they never did before when they used physical appliances. The second quote I would like to use is from another customer of ours, which is Elisa in Finland. Elisa has introduced Wind River Studio, including its automation framework, for example, to deploy the new sites, the new Wind River Studio Cloud platform, our Kubernetes platform sites. And they compare the time and the effort needed to deploy this new site between manual processes and automated processes. So, and what they measured is they are reducing the operator time, which is the time that an engineer has to spend in front of the terminal to deploy the new site, by up to 90%. That's a 90, that's an incredible number. In terms of deployment time, the reduction was up to 50%. So that's half of the time and allows Elisa to introduce new technologies like Open RAN and other technologies in the market in a very short time frame. And thirdly, they measure the quality of the service they deploy. And this is very high because you reduce the risk of human error by using automation. The final quote I would like to use is from another customer, which is Vodafone. That is very dear to us. What is important in the Vodafone quote here is that Vodafone is measuring in their production environment some important key performance indicators, like 4G and 5G upload and download speed, as well as the call success rate. And they answer one question that we always get from our new customers or potential customers. Does Open RAN actually perform as well as traditional RAN? And the simple answer to this question is no. It does not perform the same. It performs much better. Vodafone has measured some of these KPIs to perform 5 times better than traditional RAN. So that's why it's important to have Open RAN technologies in the new networks. The third thing that we introduce is innovation working with partners. We have a partner program where we align roadmaps and where we validate across all the different partners, both hardware vendors and RAN application suppliers in our platform. And one example of this is what we developed with Dell Technologies, which is the Dell Technologies Infrablock Solutions for Wind River, where we implemented the best-in-breed technology from Wind River, Dell Technologies, and Intel to provide a turnkey solution to our customers to accelerate the adoption of Open RAN. Back to you, Guy.
Thanks, Davide. And don't forget, if you have any questions on the presentation, then please send them in now because we'll have time for Q&A at the end of the programme. Now, coming back to our guests, Paul, Davide made a bold statement there about virtual RAN being better than traditional RAN, and he shared some customer quotes highlighting some very impressive KPI results from current commercial deployments at scale. Are these results unique, or do they represent the results of the majority?
Thanks, Guy. Well, certainly very exciting, right? There's nothing quite like the voice of the customer to help you understand what the experience is really like. As an example, with the work that we're doing with Vodafone deploying Open RAN in the UK, Andrea Donna had come out and stated that 90% of all KPIs are equal to or superior to the legacy kit that they're swapping out. That's a tremendous statement. They also stated that this is a blueprint for success for their future network. The ability to take lift and shift and reuse this architecture, this implementation that's now been proven to highly scale their network in a rapid manner is really an incredible power for them to modernize their network. We've also seen with Elisa, as Davide had just mentioned, that absolutely amazing statistics as you move to a software-defined environment, a 90% savings in manpower to deploy edge sites. Now, with tens of thousands of sites to deploy, think of the impact that has on the OpEx, both to deploy those sites and to continuously maintain them. So again, nothing quite like the voice of the customer here. And as you've seen through a variety of customer quotes in that recent video, we're seeing it pervasively. It's happening all across the networks that we see globally, North America, Europe, Japan. And also, this has informed the strategy that we have with Intel and Dell around the Dell infrastructure blocks with Wind River that enables us to pre-integrate and reduce the friction for adopting this technology. Obviously, as a carrier moves to a Kubernetes-based architecture using commercial off-the-shelf architectures based on processors from Intel and accelerators from Intel, there's a lot of expertise required to deploy that type of system and to maintain it. And the infrastructure block strategy allows us to completely integrate that outside of the customer environment and bring them a proven solution like the one that's being used in Vodafone in production today that can ease their adoption and enable them to rapidly launch Open RAN into the markets.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. And there were some very encouraging customer comments we heard there. Cristina, Davide mentioned the importance of automation. How have you seen automation play a key role in Open RAN deployments?
Before I get to your question, I want to make another comment on the importance of this customer testimony. When you have major operators, global operators with really high standards as far as requirements and really high standards as far as quality and KPIs, and when you hear these statements from them, then you know that we have reached the point of no return. We're not talking about something that is nice to do or cool to do. We're talking about the future. We're talking about progress. And you cannot stop progress. This is, I think, at this point, we are seeing the undeniable benefits of having a virtualized architecture. And this is where the industry is moving, and we'll see how we'll see the benefit of that coming back to the industry and to the entire society. But going back to your question on automation, so absolutely, automation is one of the most promising pillars, I'm gonna say, of innovation in the RAN, especially held or based on what we're doing in the Open RAN and virtualized RAN. I also mentioned, and I was saying this in the previous video, there is obviously a focus on and realization that we have to modernize the network and also monetize the network. Within that, monetize the network. So if you look at how do we monetize the network and how do we monetize the investment that have been done in 5G so far, everybody has that top of mind. Well, that's automation comes at the top, right? You could reduce significantly your total cost of ownership and your operation cost with automation, right? By virtualizing their 5G radio network and then as part of that also including new capabilities and new techniques such as artificial intelligence innovations, operators can significantly expand their range of network control, and they can automatically and proactively respond to the ever-changing network conditions and be a lot more efficient in their operation. Things like dynamic network configuration, traffic steering, optimized spectrum allocation, energy efficiency, proactive analytics, and proactive control. All this can be accelerated. All this can be done much more efficiently when you put automation in, again, a software-defined network running on a server architecture with many, many new capabilities. I'll tell you, for example, a few capabilities that we make available with our CPUs, Intel CPUs, and that can be very much utilized in a server architecture with a CAS layer such as the one provided by Wind River and a server architecture provided by Dell. You have new capabilities as far as telemetry that expose what is happening at the lowest layers and allow you to take measures and control resources based on that. We have what we call P states and C states that give you a lot of granularity in power management, automated power management. So things like that you wouldn't have unless you have this type of innovation. At the end of the day, the end goal, the dream of every operator is to have a zero-touch automation, having a network that is capable of self-learning, self-healing, self-correcting. And this is what we're getting. This is where we're going, again, because we have the right technology and the right network architecture underneath.
Thank you, Cristina. So that's automation. Manish, interoperability and management and support across multiple parties has been mentioned as key main concerns when moving to Open RAN. How are Intel, Dell and Wind River working to ensure that Open RAN deployments meet the standards of traditional RAN networks?
Yeah, absolutely, Guy. Just before I come to that, let me just add a couple of more points around network KPIs and the readiness and the impact of automation. Another example, in addition to what was talked about around Verizon, Vodafone, and Elisa, is Dish Networks deployed a nationwide network, achieving a velocity of 1,000 sites a week, all fully automated, zero-touch provisioning, and delivering the network KPIs that, again, are at par and better in certain cases based against the legacy architectures. And these are all proof points of scale deployments in terms of how the technology is now matured and the automation pieces have fallen in place. So you can not only have automation towards day one, but day two lifecycle management of your infrastructure on a continuous basis. I do want to come back then to your question around integration and interoperability. That's continued work. And one of the things that we did around the Dell Technologies infrastructure block for Wind River was work very closely with Wind River to really bring in, engineer the whole solution, do all that heavy lifting that's needed to be done to do that integration work upfront. We also aligned with Wind River and partnered very closely to have day two going forward. How do we provide unified support model? So when if there is any problem in the network, operators can get support by just calling Dell, and we work very closely with Wind River. The other thing is, this is not a one-time thing. There's a very close coordination with Wind River, with Intel on our roadmap planning on a continuous basis, and there are multiple releases planned per year. So there is continuous innovation, continuous improvement, and continuous delivery of those solutions to our customers. We're just at the starting point of reaping the benefits of this whole cloud transformation, because what we're going to see is the networks really benefiting from the economies of cloud, benefiting from automation, and improving innovation at a much higher velocity, where the networks will truly start to innovate at the speed of software. And that's all coming as we start to transform these networks more towards cloud-native architectures.
Thanks very much, Manish. And thanks, everyone. Very useful insights from you all. And it's great to have this customer validation as well. That's been absolutely tremendous to hear.